Hi guys, and welcome to another Wargaming Terrain video. This week's video I wanted to do something a little different and just show you how easy and cheap it can be to get into this hobby, even if you're just looking to make a couple of things for your shelf, or if you're looking to make a big table worth of scatter terrain and buildings. You really don't need to throw a lot of money at this problem to get some really good terrain, as you can see here. So let's get started. The first thing I'd highly recommend you get your hands on is a cutting mat. So you can see this one here is an A2 size. That's quite large. I picked this up on Amazon. Having a slightly larger size, if you can fit it on your desktop, is beneficial. Just saves you having to move your cutting mat to cut longer pieces of paper and things like that. So having a larger size is definitely worth the investment if you've got the table space to accommodate that. And while we're on the cutting mat, the next thing you'll probably want is a steel ruler. Now it is important that you get yourself a steel one rather than a plastic. You will have some trouble going up against a plastic one when you're cutting with a craft knife. If you can get yourself a slightly thicker ruler, it will save it from bending over time. I've found with some of the thinner ones they do bend. So if you can get yourself a thicker one, sometimes you can find them at the hardware store. Nice steel ruler, straight edge, will be perfect for building terrain. The other thing we're going to need, which we use all the time, is our craft knife. Now the craft knife itself doesn't really matter. I think this is this costs about $1 I think at the cheap shop. The important thing about your craft knife is having plenty of replacement blades for it. You might find if you're cutting lots of stuff for long periods of time, you might want a more comfortable handle for your craft knife, but honestly you can get away with the cheapest variety of these, so long as, like I said, you have spare blades, spare sharp blades ready to go. Now the next thing I use quite a lot in my builds, which is probably a little bit more unusual, is these garden shears. I find these are very, very helpful. Again, these are just a cheap, they don't even think they have a brand on them. These are a cheap variety I found for a few bucks. These work a treat, especially for cutting the paddle pop sticks, and we did that for making some of these tank traps and stuff. So if you are building along with any of the my previous videos, you will find that those are very handy to have. Now I also have a pair of scissors on hand. You don't really specifically need to buy these for your craft table. You can find them in the house usually, so I won't go into that. Now the last thing I find I need on my table is one of these little pencils, or mechanical pencils. So I use this obviously for marking things out. Very handy to have. They have a really nice fine tip on them. They're really good for not only marking, but also, as you can see, I've used them here to mark out some cracks in this concrete. These little things are very, very handy to have, these pencils, so I'd also suggest you get yourself 2 or 3 of these, as I spend more time looking for these than actually using them. Now the last tool we're going to need for building is my bloody hot glue gun. Now as you can see, this is quite pretty. You don't need a super pretty one like this. It's always an option. A little bit of razzle dazzle doesn't hurt. As you can see, this glue gun takes small glue sticks down the back here. They just get forced through as you pull the trigger, and it feeds out hot glue at the top. We do use that on most of the builds. You can get larger ones, more expensive, heat control and all sorts of different things. If you're just building some small terrain bits, I'll find that is more than enough. And guys, that is all the tools I've used to make this terrain. You can see at the top of the screen there, so nothing too complicated or expensive in any of that. You might find better versions of those tools or better ways to get the job done, but as you can see here, it really doesn't take too much to get started, or even if you're just trying to do a little bit, you can certainly pick up the tools you need really cheaply. Now the next thing you're going to need for what you see here is basically some glue. There's only a couple of different types of glue I use here, so I've got my super glue. The hot glue sticks from the hot glue gun that I showed before, and probably most importantly is the PVA wood glue. So that's all the glues I use, nothing too complicated in that either. Now I want to quickly take you through the materials I've used to make these builds and point out a few tips that I've found along the way. One of the things I use a lot of is these little paddle pop sticks. You can find these in a variety of different sizes. And I find having a few of as many different types as you can on hand is always really, really handy. Now one thing I did find with these regular size paddle pop sticks is if you're buying them at the craft store, they're generally a pretty small bag for a couple of dollars. What I did find was if you go to the office supply store and you're actually buying stirring sticks instead, you can see this is a ridiculously large bag of paddle pop sticks, but this was way cheaper than buying the supposed craft sticks, and I find there's nothing wrong with these. So if you go looking for stirring sticks as opposed to craft sticks, I've found they're exactly the same thing, only quite a bit cheaper. Now when you're at a craft store or a dollar store or cheap shop or wherever you're going to get these things, always find it's a good idea to grab a few different packets of different sizes. So for the towers and the tank traps, we use the long thin ones. I found these are really good. They're the right thickness for the scale. They're easy to work with. They're a little bit flexible and not the sturdiest when you're doing the build, but they come together really good. So like I said, grab a few different varieties of those. They'll come in handy no matter what. Next thing to have on hand is matchsticks. I don't think I really need to go into matchsticks too much. We've used them in a couple of builds. They're cheap as shit. Grab a bag. You'll find they come in handy all the time. Now the next material I use a lot of is the foam board. Now I see a lot of people online talking about this, especially here in Australia, of where the best place to grab this from is. I know you can buy some online. This stuff I purchase here is from a store called Spotlight. Now you can buy this in bags of, I think they're A3 sheets in packs of 5, or you can buy a larger sheet, like an A2 sheet, which is what I've done here, just so that I could also show you the brand name for this one. I think it's a Crafter's Choice it's called, 5mm foam board. This was about $4 or $5 I believe. Now as far as getting the paper off this, it's also the next biggest problem about foam board. I do have a video on this about how to get the paper off the foam board. I'll put a link to that above if you do have any trouble. It was using this specific paper covered foam board, so if you are having any problems, check out that video. I will just show you though, this one I bought the other day, generally fine. This was just a dry peel of the paper. I didn't have to wash this or clean it anyway. A bit random success, as you can see here. I've got some bits of paper that have stayed on. Now I'll probably wash those off using that technique in the video, just so I don't end up having to chip out the board. I'll probably wait till I actually use the foam board just to see where it sits, and I might not even have to wash that side. But again, you'll have random levels of success getting the paper off this one, and what you're left with afterwards. So I find it's fine for all my stuff has been built with it, so there's always a way to work with it. So very handy to have this. I'll really recommend you grab some for building even buildings and smaller scatter terrain. A lot of things you can see on the table there do incorporate foam board in some way. Now another material I picked up which is really cool and I think is going to go a really long way as far as builds for the future is this corrugated paper. Now this stuff was again I think at the dollar store. You should be able to read the brand there. It's just corrugated paper. I think you can also buy it as kids craft paper. But this stuff is really handy. Like I said, I can think of half a dozen uses for this off the top of my head. It was a great find, and this is what we use for the shipping containers. You can see it's really flexible if you want it to be, rigid enough if you're building things like the shipping containers there. It was really good for that. You can bend it and dint it, and it takes paint really well. This was a great find, so really happy with corrugated paper. Grab some of that if you can. The next one's just a found object in the house. Hopefully you'll be able to dig some of this out of your recycling or something. It's just some card. So this is cereal box cardboard. This stuff is perfect to have around. I always keep myself stocked up with 3 or 4 sheets of this ready to go. It's really handy. It's a great thickness to use. Nice, good card. We used it on, oh gosh, we used that on the shipping containers for the end caps of that. Yeah, so really easy to find and really handy to have. So grab some of that if you can, just put it in a drawer. It's nice to have it on hand when you need it. Now another found object. If you remember when we made these little ammo crates here, we actually used a wet wipe for the blanket that we threw over the top of that. So that's really handy to have if you can grab yourself 1 or 2 out of a packet. A little bit goes a long way with this stuff, so you don't need a lot of it. For reasons you can probably figure out, toothpicks or cocktail sticks are handy to have. We used them on the top of the towers. I think even for the loudspeakers we did, the little loudspeaker pole there. Now another thing which is really handy to have and you will probably end up finding a million uses for is these little LED tea light candles. A couple of dollars for these, and usually at a craft shop or cheap shop They do come in slightly different varieties, so you'll have, you might find these a little bit different depending on where you're getting them from, but essentially they're all the same thing. They have the LED built in, they have the battery included, they have a little switch. They're easy to pull apart and easy to reuse for different things. So we use those for the fire drums that you can sort of see flickering at the top of the screen there. And these are really handy to have. Speaking of the fire drums, these little ones here, when we made those we just used a large jumbo straw and some paper. Now these I did find in a packet at the at one of the cheap shops, maybe in Party Supplies or something like that. These are slightly larger. I think they're milkshake straws or something like that. They're perfect. Ended up being the perfect scale for this terrain that I'm building at the moment. So as you can see next to the miniatures there, they end up being a really good height. So very handy to have those straws. I think probably a few other things I'll do with those down the track as well. Now another thing I did use for the very first video I did was some of this craft wire, which I found. I think I bought it for a different purpose, but it was only I think $1 for this roll. It's really quite thin black wire. Now we use that for the little bars on these shipping containers here. I haven't since used it, but I'm sure there's a lot of other places I could use that, so I'll be hanging on to that for the future. And that covers all the tools and materials I needed to make the terrain you can see here at the top of the screen. Obviously the possibilities for these materials are pretty endless. Now I do have quite a few more ideas and a few more videos coming up shortly, so please hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see some more. Also a big thank you to all the people that have subscribed and liked and commented on the videos so far. I really do appreciate it. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Nathan at Nate's Miniatures. If you haven't seen his channel, I'll put a link in the description below. He's just started miniature painting and has a channel that covers his journey, learning new techniques, and his video on beginning painting really was a bit of an inspiration for today's video. It was really helpful, not only for techniques but for confidence as well, so thanks Nate. Alright, that's it everybody. I hope to see you next week. Thanks.